Warner Brothers. New Lines. It is now the highest-grossing September release ever after making $60 million in its second weekend. That gives the film a 10-day total of $218 million and puts it well on pace to become only the fourth R-rated movie to gross over $300 million domestically. The September record was previously held by Crocodile Dundee, which made $174.8 million in 1984. It has given WB another big hit to continue the strong performance the studio has shown at the box office with films like Wonder Woman and Dunkirk, while the studio's other horror film currently in theaters, Annabelle Creation, will pass the $100 million domestic mark on Monday. It has also helped the domestic box office recover from a terrible August, moving the year-to-date deficit from 6.5% behind 2016's pace to 5.5%. Also read it has broken a box office record every day for past week, but while audiences are flocking to see Pennywise, many want no part of Paramount's linear-crossing horror competitor, Mother, which is estimated to finish well below its $11 million pre-weekend projections, with a $7.5 million opening from 2,368 screens against a $30 million budget. Darren Aronofsky's provocative horror film featured a quartet of top stars, including Michelle Pfeiffer and Jennifer Lawrence, Indiana the lead role, and had some critics on its side with a 68% Rotten Tomatoes score. But the film's F grade on CinemaScore and poor word of mouth surrounding the film's uncomfortably violent climax has made Mother the worst wide-release opening of Lawrence's career. Also read Mother review. Jennifer Lawrence horror flick in all its glorious insanity. Between the two horror films sits Lionsgate Cubs Films' American Assassin, which made a solid $14.8 million from 3,154 screens against a $33 million budget. The Dylan O'Brien-Michael Keaton action flick is on the same pace as the original John Wick, which made $14 million in its opening and went on to gross $43 million domestically. American Assassin has a 36% RT score and a B on CinemaScore. Completing the top 5 this weekend is Open Road's Home Again with $5.3 million in its second weekend, and Lionsgate's The Hitman's Bodyguard with $3.5 million. Darren Aronofsky's Mother has polarized critics, but audiences who went to see it on opening night stamped it with an F on CinemaScore. Only a handful of films have received that failing grade, but how many of them had a critical audience divide like Mother did? Dr. T and the Women 2000 Rotten Tomatoes score 57%. Richard Gere, Helen Hunt and Farrah Fawcett couldn't save Drive. T and the Women from AF grade. Darkness 2002 Rotten Tomatoes score 4%. Released on Christmas Day in the US, critics roundly panned the occult European horror import as a nonsensical, poorly edited mess that relied too much on jump scares. Solaris 2002 Rotten Tomatoes score 66%. Directed by Steven Soderbergh, produced by James Cameron, and starring George Clooney, this adaptation of Stanislaw Lem's classic sci-fi novel alienated opening night crowds with its deliberate pace, but won over critics like Roger Ebert for its cerebral storytelling. Wolf Creek 2005 Rotten Tomatoes score 53%. This viciously violent horror flick, on the other hand, got a hard pan from Ebert for its depiction of women being tortured. But other critics defended the film for its audacity and willingness to truly horrify. This polarizing film has since earned a small cult following among horror buffs. Bug 2006 Rotten Tomatoes score 61%. The reception for Bug was similar to that of Mother, shocking and polarizing audiences at Cannes while winning over critics with the powerful lead performances of Ashley Judd and Michael Shannon. But when it hit theaters, audiences were disturbed in the worst way possible. The Wicker Man 2006 Rotten Tomatoes score 15%. The original Wicker Man in 1973 is regarded as a cult classic. This one was seen as an unintentional joke by critics, and has gained a cult following as a sober-it's-good film. I Know Who Killed Me 2007 Rotten Tomatoes score 7%. This psychological thriller wasn't screened in advance for critics, and when reviews did come out they were not kind to Lindsay Lohan's performance. I Know Who Killed Me went on to win 8 Razzies, including Worst Picture. Disaster Movie 2008 Rotten Tomatoes score 1%. Kim Kardashian may have been the biggest star in this failed spoof of the disaster movie genre, with possibly the least original movie title ever. The Box 2009 Rotten Tomatoes score 45%. James Marsden and Cameron Diaz found a bizarre package in a befuddling brain twister from Donnie Darko director Richard Kelly that filmgoers preferred to keep shut. The Devil Inside 2012 Rotten Tomatoes score 6%. 2012 brought a trio of CinemaScore flunkies. First was The Hated Devil Inside, which pretended to be a documentary and ended with a link to a website to encourage viewers to learn more about the film's paranormal incidents. Audiences chose to log off instead. Silent House 2012 Rotten Tomatoes score 41%. Premiering as a midnight screening at Sundance, Silent House earned praise from some critics for using the continuous shot style that Birdman later won Oscars for. But like The Box and Devil Inside, the film's payoff soured CinemaScore polls. Killing Them Softly 2012 Rotten Tomatoes score 74%. Critics who saw this dark crime thriller at Cannes loved Brad Pitt's performance and the film's bleak portrayal of capitalism. But Killing Them Softly didn't just go after capitalism, it went after America, ending with Pitt responding to an Obama speech on TV by declaring America is not a country, it's just a business. Americans didn't appreciate that. Mother 2017 Darren Aronofsky's horror film starring Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem sharply divided critics but not audiences. The film's shocking, violent climax has left viewers deeply shaken. Darren Aronofsky's Mother has polarized critics, but audiences who went to see it on opening night stamped it with an F on CinemaScore. Only a handful of films have received that failing grade, but how many of them had a critical audience divide like Mother did?